What is up? This is Rektar. This is Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Temple Remix. I'm playing it, but I'm not really playing it right now. I'm doing post-commentary, which is, if you've ever watched my channel, you'll know that post-commentary is not my thing at all. I usually do live commentary, but as I said in the last video, and I will probably say in the video after this, because I probably explain it, I had my microphone switched to the wrong thing because I'd been recording some guitar tracks on my computer yesterday, and I just plumb forgot when I started recording today. Like, I turned on all the recording stuff. Like, I was like, okay, sound recorder's going, Fraps is going. I was like, I'm all good. I was like, this is set for success. But, and then of course I noticed, like, I'm like, shit, Oh, so the funny story is how... So for the second half of the water temple, or the second, like, 3/5 of the water temple, I'm actually, Oh yeah, so right there I noticed that I need the long shot for that, and so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna come back to that later when we get the long shot, which I do. So for the second 3/5, I'm doing live commentary again, and so you might wonder, like, if I do all the temples in one sitting usually, you're like, how is it that you noticed that your sound wasn't going? Did you, like, notice that there was no meter showing the sound going? Because sometimes in the past I've noticed before I actually start the video, if I've switched around my settings, that the little decibel meter isn't moving when I talk, and so, you know, even my dumbass can figure out that if the little decibel meter isn't moving when I talk, that there's if the little decibel meter isn't moving when I talk, I probably need to check what's going on with the sound, but I didn't even think about that. Like, I didn't even check that this time. But what happened was, halfway through the temple, my brother, who I share an apartment with, he cooked breakfast for us this morning, which is very nice of him. It's my day off, so I got up. I have this, like, curse, obviously, where because I work at 4 a.m. every day, I can't wake up other than at 4 a.m. Like, no matter how hard I try, I always wake up at 4 a.m. So I got up early, we went out and got groceries, and he made breakfast for everybody. Oh, I talked about in my original recording how, as a child, I always missed this key because it didn't occur to me to go back down, even though the camera shows that this little passageway opens up. But anyway, so my brother, he was like, hey, I made breakfast and I didn't want it to get cold, so I stopped in the middle of the dungeon, ate breakfast, came back. I'm like, oh, I might as well, while I'm recording the rest of the temple, I might as well do a sound removal, or do an extraneous noise removal in Audacity on this audio track. So I loaded the audio track into Audacity, only to find out that there was no audio track. So then I record the rest of the dungeon. I'm like, after I do this, I'm gonna have to go back and sit there for a half an hour and watch myself play Zelda. Look at all those fuckers. They're just sitting there, just waiting for the slaughter. I feel bad for them almost, except for I think this one actually hits me, or one of them. Maybe this one. Maybe this last one actually gets a hit off on me. So yeah, that's how I noticed halfway through that I had fucked up. Right. I guess I should. I've been not spending a lot of time talking about what I'm doing, but it's weird for me, like, oh, and I come over here and I check to show that, in case you're wondering if there's something up there, there's not. It's just so weird to, I can't, it's harder for me to concentrate on, like, talking about what I'm doing, not while I'm doing it. But like I said in my last video, it's easy for me to concentrate on stupid shit that I do when I'm not doing it, because I'm like, why did I even do that? But there's no example of that on screen right now. I'm just giving a key. But any hoozle, the funny thing is the song that I was working on with my guitar hooked up and shit yesterday was actually for a possible intro for this, and I played a little clip of it in the last video. So if you want to hear a little clip of the possible intro, that I was recording. It's actually the Legend of Zelda song, but it's got like some 8-bit stuff that I recorded with my 3DS and some live stuff that I recorded with my guitar, but that's not important. So I'm trying to get back on track about talking about the actual temple here, but I just can't do it. I can't think about what's happening on the screen right now. It looks like I've got 2 keys. I think I'm a key short. I can mention it this time. Okay, so there's a Skulltula in this room. The reason I'm looking around, even though you can't hear it, I know there's one in here. Oh, there you go. Now you can hear it. But you can't get to it without the long shot. So I sit here and I'm like, I wonder if I can get to that Skulltula. And then I realize, nope, it's another long shot thing. Also, if you ever need to get back into that room, you can light that torch. That's the reason I'm looking at the doors, because I'm trying to say that if you want to get back into that room but you don't want to lower the water, you can just light that torch. Like if you want to go get the Skulltula after you get the long shot but you have the water on the 2nd level for some reason, you can do that. Trying to think of what I was going to do next. I think I was going to save that door for later. That's the door that, it's the first of 2 doors that without doing any glitching you have to have the fairy bow for, which is obviously the reason in the last few videos I went into the Forest Temple, did not complete the Forest Temple so I could get the fairy bow, but not break my rules of not completing the Forest Temple, because like I said, I don't care about Saria. I wanted to see how my wife was doing. I want to save her and her family because I want the wedding to go well. But actually maybe I should... What? Oh! Okay. Man, I don't have my, I guess it's set at 20 minutes, I should change that, for how long it takes before my screen goes dormant, and just now my screen started going dormant. Oh, and I think, okay, so right here I'm gonna get the compass, and I talked about how they do this here, and it's like, why do they even bother putting the switch on the other side of the room, because, like, I think it's pretty obvious that you have to just whip out your bow or your hookshot or whatever you want. Oh, and right there I noticed that if you jump the way I was going to, you will probably hit the spikes, so I changed the jump so I would grab onto the thing. Because I was like, I probably don't want to hit the spikes, even though it'll do, like, I think it does a 1/4 heart of damage for every second you stand on them, but don't quote me on the numbers because... What the fuck do I know, right? I'm just some guy who is doing this Let's Play in his free time. So I noticed the locked door. I'm like, okay, I don't want to use any keys until I have as many keys as I can get. So I come over here. I'm going to explain the business with the fairy bow. And then it's going to take me, like... I actually did this a first try where I didn't jump right here, and I cut right here. You'll notice, like, maybe a little cut. Let's see how smooth I do this. Actually, I did that pretty smooth. You can barely notice that I cut out. There was a first try where I just stood there with my hookshot and I'm like, damn it, I don't think it's gonna go. And then, yeah, I climb up and then I'm just like, I'm a dumbass. You actually need your long shot. So we're gonna come back to that in the next video. And then I come over here and I realize that I guess the next thing I have to do, right now, this next door that I'm gonna open up, it raises the water level all the way, so it's just like Mario. It's just like that thing in Mario, and, man, if I can't remember the name of a Mario level, I'm gonna feel like an ass. Oh yeah, so that thing will always jump down if you don't ever come at that unless you let that guy jump down. They make your hookshot barely not long enough, so if you stand in the middle, but if you stand right on the edge here, yep. And that's what I do, obviously. You can get that shit to go, which is cool. There's a lot of stuff in this that I forgot. When I was doing this playthrough that I was like, it just didn't occur to me that you can't do without the long shot. And then here's the third water level razor. There's only 3 in this temple. I mean, that's what Princess Rudo, my fiance, who I'm going to have crazy interracial sex with, said before I did the temple, was that she's like, you probably can't do this shit, you dumbass. That raises the water level. I think there's not much more actually that I really do in this video. I'm trying to look at the timer because, I'm not gonna lie, post-commentary is weird. Like, I think I lose my train of thought. I can't tell if I lose my train of thought more or less when I'm doing post-commentary, but I do like being able to talk about what I'm doing while I'm doing it, but I don't know. Alright, so yeah, there, right there, that's where the boss door is, where I just walked past, but that dragon head is too far away to, it's too far away for you to hit the target, so it cannot be done. So I'm just like, fuck that, I don't care. I move along my merry way and come over here. I look at my map. The reason I'm looking at my map right there is because I'm trying to figure out which direction has boxes. So I'm like, which way will lead me to my finest solution? Oh, and in the beginning of the next video is the first place that I notice I missed a key. I actually get to the place where I need the key, and then I'm like, fuck, and then I cut back away. And right now is probably where old Rakdar is. My brother didn't actually tell me breakfast was ready, but I knew he was cooking breakfast. And this is probably about the time old Rakdar is like, I gotta end this video because I'm a fat ass and I need to get my breakfast. Although now I'm not gonna have to eat for the rest of the day. So yeah, you come down here, you drag this, but then you can't drag it the rest of the way. I actually come to check and see which part of the dungeon this is actually in, and I realize it's in the part with the, it's in the part with where you need the long shot to shoot the thing, to do the thing. And then I think I actually forget to come back and get this key later. But you'll find out about my failure there in the next, actually that's in the, I think the 4th out of the 5 videos in this dungeon, and then I'm glitched out here for a second. I think I'm stuck in the wall, but it turns out I'm just a dumbass. But you already knew that. If you watch my series at all, you know I'm a dumbass. So I pop up out of the water. And then I think my next goal, I can move that the rest of the way around. So stick on the flying shoes. And by flying shoes, I mean sinking shoes. Actually, you do get shoes with wings on them in this game, the hover boots. Come over here, but this is actually, I thought this was connected when I came to do this, but it's actually not, because I didn't realize at the time that this was the part where you needed the thing. And I'm going to end this episode right here, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.